you go about explaining to somebody, regardless of like their age, just somebody who's, I guess, technologically challenged, we'll say, or just resistant to technology as a whole, like, one, what even is a CRM? Like, let's say they don't know anything about it. What is a CRM, and why are companies like GorillaDesk just a must whenever you're like starting from day one? Like, you don't want to wait until you have hundreds of customers, be all disorganized. Like, why make that small investment? Because you're going to see obviously big returns out of it. But what all would you say?
Sure. GorillaDesk basic plan out the gates like $600 a year, and then your pro plan's 1,200.
Mm-hmm.
And then your growth plan is like 1,800 or so.
Mm-hmm.
When I was a technician and I was using index cards to run my schedule, you have an index card that falls between the seats, and it's the same deal.
Yeah.
You get an index card that falls between the seats, we get an angry customer. We're not taking the right approach.
Right.
Or not, and so the CRM is there to serve you as first a database of what's true, and that it doesn't fail you. Software is meant to be software because it doesn't fail you and it doesn't have the human error that we're so likely to do. So you don't want when you're just trying to get going. Everything matters, and reviews are critically important. And so when everybody's considering what plan to go for, you have to go for pro plan because reviews are the backbone when you start. And the review generator is awesome. It does what it needs to do, and you're going to be stacking reviews. So from day one, I would want my review generator up. I'd want to be on the pro plan. And, you know, a pro plan is also required for material use tracking at a higher level, and making sure we're compliant. And because we're in a compliant industry, we also need to take that very seriously.
Right.
And that's another reason why GorillaDesk is so sticky, is because we're helping you guys meet compliance because of
Right.
how critically important it is if you guys end up getting audited by ag department.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's another thing, is it easily keeps you in compliance. What's the biggest drag ever? Getting an auditor and nothing is put together.
Yeah.
You go to GorillaDesk, the auditor looks and they're like, "All right,
Mm. No,
no
you're
problem, no
100% right.
problem." Man, what a stress reliever there too.
Oh, yeah.
It's so much more than I can even say it is, but it's also when I started, I didn't want customers to have my personal phone number. This is the reason I'm working towards VoIP and getting it to where everybody can get VoIP, and eventually the price will become consolidated down where everybody can get it.
Mm.
Right now it's kind of a premium point, and that's where we want it to be for who's adopting it now, so we can make it where we exactly what we want it to be, and then we're going to consolidate the price down so that everybody can
Mm.
end up utilizing it.
God.
But that's the thing too, like, you've got to set yourself up to where in the beginning there are things that aren't working against you. Not having a CRM works against you.
Mm.
Using your personal phone number, in my opinion, over time works against you.
Oh, yeah.
So, just those two things alone is kind of what got me the whole itch of people need to be using this application, because I know how important it is and why I built it for my family and myself, and then over time brought it to the market.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. Yeah, because I remember that. And I guess we didn't even really hit on that a whole lot. Just, the whole background of just where the need, I guess, kind of popped up from. Because I know, I forget, you were working, was it for a tech company before you started in the pest control industry and then
I,
launched
like
your own
you,
thing?
had 6, 7, 8 startups out of college.
Yeah.
Then I learned a lot, and I
Right.
understood then a bit more about software by being exposed to it by my friends starting software companies.
God.
And so then I naturally looked at my family's business and the struggle, because we were using what was at that time, I think, Smart Service, which was desktop based only. It wasn't a cloud application.
Wow.
We went from index cards to Smart Service, which was all only on one computer, with QuickBooks on one computer,
Right,
to
right.
me saying I want to build a cloud application. And then I got in my family's business for about 7 years,
Mhm.
built the cloud application with my own money, nobody's money. I had to build a route, use that money to
Right.
build GorillaDesk, and then I took it to market, you know? So I struggled for a while just to get version 1 going, like every year,
Right.
like every single entrepreneur would. And then luckily I transitioned, giving the pest control business to my brother, and then I focused on software full time, for the last 13 years. And the first 2 years on Gorilla software is difficult as well because the product was not anything like it
Right.
is today.
Right, yeah,
Um,
because I mean, even just from a pure what's even available from a technology standpoint, 13 years ago, we're
yeah,
talking 2012, essentially. I mean,
yeah, different
shoot,
world.
iPhones were still relatively at the time. I mean, you look back at what was that, I guess, the iPhone 5 maybe at the time, somewhere around there, 5S. I think that's when they started the whole S thing. Um, just think of that versus now, even with the
Yeah,
iPhones, same thing can go for Gorilla Desk that versus Gorilla Desk now. Not to mention the amount of money that it took to build an app back then versus even now it's still expensive, very expensive, depending on how involved you want to,
man,
get in terms of building it from scratch. But back then, I can only imagine just the amount of resources and
yeah.
obviously time. I
Something
mean,
else a little funny.
to help you with code or anything
Yeah.
like that, or Claude or any of those. Like, yeah.
What's funny are the guys that are like, or the companies are like, I'll just go build it ourselves. And man, good luck. Go do it. You'll have a world of pain,
Oh,
and you're not going to have the momentum we have because there's millions of dollars being invested in a Gorilla Desk,
mhm.
hundreds of
Well, and you
builds.
also got a marketing machine too at this point. I mean, I see
Yeah,
you all, even as a signed up user, I'm seeing you all everywhere.
yeah,
Facebook all the time. Of course, you all do a lot of the events. I know you're mentioning Pest World, and even some other ones. I notice I'll see you or Rebecca, somebody, just
yeah,
out and about at a woman's one or whatever the case may be. Like, you guys are everywhere. It goes back to what me and Jonas were talking about in our interview last week about, even if somebody goes out and builds, say, dare I say, better application, you got to get the marketing on point because regardless, the best known is going to beat the best every time. And the good thing for you all is like you're not just the best known or getting to the point where you all are the best known, like you have what I would say is definitely the best product out there. I mean, the
yeah,
closest thing that I've heard is maybe field routes, just because. But again, they're one of those where I think it's just more so best known. Because I can say I know you're not gonna say anything about them, of course, but I can say from experience, like it's not even close.
yeah.
Just it is.
We're basically leaving these guys in the dust. The larger entities that got acquired multiple times over,
Yeah.
product is no longer the focus.
Right.
And that's now becoming a competitive advantage over on our side.
One hundred
There's
percent.
2 more things I want to touch on really quick. One
Mhm.
is we're going to end up rolling out um, a administrative support AI within your Gorilla Desk where you can basically like you're contacting chat support,
Mhm.
you'll be able to hit our AI tool first and get the same type of immediate answers anytime you want them, like our chat support would usually provide you,
Right. Right.
which is cool. So we're taking the
Yeah.
same tool that we've given you, we're now reutilizing it internally to
Right.
provide you guys a support team. Now, a lot of people, especially in our industry, are very wary of, I don't want to talk to a robot, right? But
Yeah.
there are things where you want an immediate answer. And then there are things where you want to escalate more difficult things. So we basically made it really cool where you could just swap between I want to ask my AI support and I want to ask my real support team. You can go between
Right.
them.
That's
Another
funny you
thing,
mentioned that.
yeah, another thing that's going to be game changing, and this is kind of giving away the gold, is that Gorilla Desk right now is building an LLM on our database structures,
Okay.
which is basically going to give you a customized model to interact with, utilizing all of your Gorilla Desk data and all the context of all the fields of your data the AI will understand.
Yeah.
So you will essentially have a CEO, a COO, a rep, a
CFO.
service rep, whatever you want in one, because the tool will soon be wrapped into all of your data set with context, and you will be able to utilize it in ways that you don't even understand yet.
Right.
It's going to be and if other CRMs are not integrating
How
a language model like we are, there will be no chance for them anymore.
right, right.
This is coming very soon. So imagine you be able to go to GorillaDesk. Hey, I want you to create a report on this with these fields. Send me this report every week at this time. Let me know strategically based on what's happening in my system where I should expand, focus, what things should I be doing I'm not doing. It's going to be so remarkable. It's I don't know. We don't even know all the uses yet.
Oh.